In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and
getting back into the classroom is a goal for all school districts. When the time is right, DeKalb County school leaders just unveiling what's included in the next phases of its reopening plan. They say phase 2 begins when there are 100 or less cases per 100,000 residents over a 14-day period. Looking at a map from the Department of Public Health's website, DeKalb's cases per 100,000 people over the last 2 weeks is 122 as of yesterday. So they're close to that goal of 100, but not there yet. Here's how phase 2 will work. Students continue to learn virtually, but teachers will transition to a hybrid schedule, working at school for 2 days and virtually for 3 days. Before moving to phase 3, 2nd, 6th, and 9th graders will have 1 day of in-person learning a week before bringing all students back to school. The district's approach is all based on COVID case numbers. There's no specific dates for when the next phases begin, but we will keep you updated as soon as we learn more. Meanwhile, some parents frustrated with virtual learning are sharing videos like these with us and urging Atlanta public schools to release plans on when their kids can return for face-to-face learning. Tracy A. McPeer spoke to the superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools about their concerns and what comes next.
They are in their rooms, glued to a computer like this. They do not come out.
Molly Sipp says virtual learning for her family is not working, with her 4 kids online all day.
They all have breaks at different times. They all eat lunch at different times. They start at different times.
Sipp is also a member of the Facebook group, Let Atlanta Parents Choose. It formed last week and already has nearly 700 members, many also frustrated with virtual learning.
We've heard nothing about APS as far as where we're headed and what the future holds for the children.
The group also started a petition with more than 1,800 signatures so far. APS Superintendent Dr. Lisa Herring says the school district is paying attention.
They've asked very explicitly about pre-K and special education. That's been on our radar. They've asked for choice, or at least the understanding of knowing when we'll be able to come back to school and are we preparing. The answer is yes.
Sipp says parents are looking for specifics.
How are the kids going to have lunch? Are there going to be partitions? Do we wear masks? What about the bus?
I don't want by any stretch for there to be a sense of we've not been in communication, nor have we listened to families. I've been overwhelmed with the amount of response we've received, numbers in the tens of thousands.
But when it comes to an actual plan, these parents say they'll have to see it to believe it.
If I had one thing to say, it would be to prove us wrong, Dr. Herring. Let us see the plan, put our minds at ease.
Herring says APS parents won't have to wait until October 5th for new information. They will now release a draft version of their plan by next week. Now, by then, they will also release the date of the next survey. Keep in mind, any hybrid plan depends on COVID numbers going down.
College football is back, but the tailgating fun is not. The new plan in place for some Georgia universities.
This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with.
Well, if you're planning to pregame before the Georgia Tech football home opener this Saturday, you'll have to do it off campus. Tailgating is banned Saturday outside Bobby Dodd Stadium because of the pandemic. Chairs, grills, and coolers are not allowed on the grounds, and gatherings of any size are prohibited anywhere outside the stadium. But fans attending the game are still encouraged to arrive early. Parking lots will open 2 hours before kickoff. UGA's first home game is October 3rd, but the school has already said there will be no tailgating at any Bulldogs home games this season. And that'll do it for 11Alive News at 11:30. More news coming your way right now.
11Alive News at noon starts now.
Hurricane Sally roaring ashore, bringing extensive flooding and strong winds to the Gulf Coast. What it means for us here in Metro Atlanta. A wave of police officers resigning in Atlanta. The mayor addressing the high numbers in a briefing today. Also an update on the search to find a new top cop. Census woes. The 2020 census on track to drastically undercount the South. The impact it could have on Georgia in the years to come. But first, Hurricane Sally making landfall near Gulf Shores, Alabama as a Category 2 storm more than 6 hours ago. It is a slow mover, now downgraded to a Cat 1. Dangerous winds and rain still a big concern. Thousands without power. Jay Gray has the latest on the storm's path.
Hey there, and thankfully right now a bit of a break from the rain. The wind's still gusting though, and you can see that behind me. Take a look. You can see it's still whipping the trees here and moving the lamppost back and forth a bit. As you move down to Mobile Bay, what you'll notice is that the wind is still pushing the water here as well. White caps on the bay here, and you can see that mist of the water that's still getting pushed around. And these are conditions that are going to continue for a while, not only here but across the region. Of course, this storm making landfall near Gulf Shores, Alabama, just before sunrise, and bringing with it violent winds, a mounting surf that really pushed the storm surge inland quite a bit there. And that storm surge added to the rain is going to cause, as the National Weather Service has alluded to, historic flooding in some of the low-lying areas that this storm has affected. Right next door in Orange Beach, they saw more of the same with the driving rains there. We've got flooding in several areas, and that water's not going to go anyway anytime soon. This storm has made landfall. It's just not real anxious to move away. That lingering, slow progression is going to add to what are already difficult conditions here. Power lines down across the region. We know close to 500,000 without power. And again, this is something the area is going to have to deal with for the next several days. That's the latest right now here in Mobile. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you.
All right, Jay, thank you so much. We are already seeing some gusty winds here in the metro. I stepped outside a few moments ago, Chesley, and also a little bit of rain out there, a few sprinkles. You're saying this is the outer band of Sally?
Yeah, just beginning for us. Yeah, more of that rain will start to intensify this afternoon and tonight. I think the heaviest rain will be over us through the overnight going into Thursday morning. When you're coming back into work, Sheba, that rain will be heavier. Right now, the heaviest rain is down here to the south where the hurricane has just made landfall. You can see it now starting to push over into the panhandle of Florida, but not before battering it. A lot of the onshore flow that we saw, a lot of the tornadoes that have been spinning up have been right along the panhandle from Pensacola all the way over to Panama City. We'll continue to watch that and again push this heavy rain further off to the north. We got some of the outer bands here right now. It has been very light. You got a moderate pocket or two. In fact, we'll zoom in and show you if you're planning on going out this afternoon. Make sure you carry the umbrella with you. Now, off and on showers, light for the most part, but that will intensify and the rain will become a little bit more steady as we head through the afternoon as well. Down to a Category 1 hurricane now with winds up to 80 miles per hour. It has picked up a little bit of forward speed. Very little bit. Now we have had it at 3 miles per hour, now up to 5 miles per hour, this latest update, and we'll continue to push further off to the north. Now, if we can get this to really start to pick up some speed, that means less amounts for rain, but we're looking at that very heavy rain pushing into our forecast area, again, as we head through the overnight going into tomorrow morning. Flash flood watch remains in effect through Friday morning. It's because of how slow the storm has been moving. Anywhere from 3 to up to 6 inches of rainfall. The heavier amounts will be south of the city of Atlanta. So that's going to be one of the impacts. Of course, with the ground saturated, you get those winds out there, could knock over some trees. We're looking at winds 10 to 20 miles per hour with some higher gusts out there. And the storm risk, I think, will be on the low side. Tornado risk will be on the low side, but that will be mainly, again, over central Georgia. For us, the major threat will be that rain. And of course, with those gusty winds. And that will be with us at least through about Friday morning. So we'll have to deal with this through then. We'll have more on the impacts around here. We'll give the timing hour by hour and what else is out there in the tropics that could be coming our way. Sheba, back to you.
All right, Chesley, and the 11Alive Storm Tracker team will continue to follow the latest on Sally and the impact on our weather. Stay ahead of the storm by downloading our 11Alive app. The team will keep you updated on its path, of course. Now to the coronavirus outbreak in Georgia and the governor signing a new shelter-in-place order. It is good news for residents of long-term care facilities and nursing homes. For the first time since the pandemic, they can now have activities if they line up with the state health department's reopening plan. It also allows the opportunity for visitors, but only if the facility meets specific guidelines. Meanwhile, the state is reporting 45 new COVID deaths, one of them a 12-year-old boy in South Georgia. They tell us the child had chronic health problems. This brings the total number of deaths for children and teens to 6 in Georgia. We're following breaking news right now. Atlanta's former chief financial officer indicted by the feds for fraud, theft from government, obstruction, and gun charges. In a statement, the U.S. attorney says Jim Beard allegedly abused his position as one of the most powerful executives in the city of Atlanta to commit federal crimes for his own gain, including stealing tens of thousands of dollars of the public's money, possessing machine guns that members of the public cannot have, and obstructing an IRS audit. Beard served roughly 6.5 years as Atlanta CFO under former Mayor Kasim Reed. He resigned when Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms took over back in 2018. We will have much more on the allegations against him and the ongoing corruption investigation into Atlanta City Hall tonight at 5 and 6. Happening right now, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms holding a virtual Q&A. Well, it ended a short time ago. The city's goal here is to address as many things as possible, and one of the things she tackled was the search, ongoing search to find a new top cop, and her reaction to this new number of Atlanta police officers resigning. Nick has much more on that. He's live outside City Hall.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sheba. And as you mentioned, that virtual Q&A wrapped up about an hour ago. And again, Mayor Bottoms hitting on several different things in this virtual Q&A, including the state of Atlanta police. Now, according to a report from APD, 28 officers resigned in August. Mayor Bottoms said the advisory committee gave feedback along with APD on the department's transformation. She also said that the city was advised that now is not the right time to search for a new police chief, praising interim chief Rodney Bryant for his knowledge, and says morale within APD is stabilizing.
Atlanta is not alone. Cities across the country are seeing people leave public safety. But if history is any guide for us, what's happened in the past, people will leave APD, and then there will be a number of those people who will attempt to come back at some point.
And Sheba, Mayor Bottom said that the next step is to talk with experts to make sure that they are on the right track when it comes to APD. But between her and Chief Bryant, who was also in on that virtual Q&A, they seem very optimistic as far as where the department is headed.
All right, Nick, thank you. And now to developments in the violent arrest of Roderick Walker. Activists are now calling on Clayton County Sheriff to step down. They say the county's top cop needs to be held accountable for the action of his two deputies. Walker's attorneys say last Friday Walker was a passenger in a car pulled over for a broken taillight. Deputies asked him for ID, and when he began asking questions, the situation turned physical. This video, now viral, shows Walker being pinned to the ground by two deputies, one of them punching Walker, leaving him bloodied and bruised. That unnamed deputy has since been fired, but activists say the termination is not enough.
The devil is busy in Clayton County abusing black and brown residents. And you all as the commissioners are busy doing nothing but co-signing his war on Clayton County residents.
This is not just a Clayton County issue. Georgia has a police brutality issue, and the only way to deal with that is through the defunding of police.
Activists speaking before a commissioners meeting last night and also protesting outside. The Clayton County District Attorney's Office is now investigating the incident. Walker's attorneys have now filed an emergency motion to set him free from the Fulton County Jail. With the U.S. Census deadline quickly approaching here, a campaign urging people to participate continues to sweep the South. Former gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams helping to lead that initiative. Mara Sirianni spoke with Abrams about the negative impact undercounting Georgians will have for years to come.
With time running out, Georgia's census response is the second worst in the country. That's according to the federal government, and there is a lot at stake. Fair Count founder Stacey Abrams and former New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu launched Census in the South Road to Recovery. It's a virtual bus tour across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. The message: complete the 2020 census. As we reported, the census is on track to drastically undercount the South. That's why both leaders want to remind people the 2020 census is a critical step in directing more than $1.5 trillion to the states through federal programs each year for the next 10 years. In Georgia, Abrams says this would directly impact communities of color and rural communities.
40% of Georgia is comprised of communities of color, more than 40%. And that means that if we are undercounting communities of color and rural communities, which are the two hardest to count populations, we are risking losing millions of dollars every single year.
The deadline to complete the 2020 census is September 30th. That is exactly 2 weeks away. So time is running out. If you'd like to complete it, what you can do online, head to our website, 11alive.com, and click on this story.
The presidential election right around the corner, and the candidates are crisscrossing the country to lock down votes. We'll take a look at their strategies on the campaign trail.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. the things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your
September 16th, and the presidential election is already underway in Pennsylvania. With 48 days to go, nearly half of all states will start early voting by this weekend, and more are sending ballots straight to your mailbox. Tracy Potts has the latest on how President Trump and Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden are traveling the country to secure your vote.
Sir, why do you think that you're under... Today, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden speaks to Democrats in the Senate about mobilizing voters after a trip to Florida where he courted veterans.
We're going to make sure that no veteran is locked out of treatment.
And Latino voters.
You can decide the direction of this country.
Polls are tight in Florida, with Biden lagging among Latinos, a group Hillary Clinton won easily 4 years ago.
I don't take anything for granted.
His running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, going after that same group in Nevada.
There are clear choices in this election. And so I urge everyone to, here in Nevada, vote and vote early.
President Trump, in an ABC town hall with George Stephanopoulos in Pennsylvania last night, defends his coronavirus response.
Could you have done more to stop it? I don't think so.
The president also defending why early on he withheld how deadly this virus could be.
I don't want to scare people. I don't want to make people panic. And you're not going to go out and say, oh, this is death, death, death. It is going to disappear.
The president still claims we'll have a vaccine within weeks, despite drug makers and health experts who say it'll be sometime next year. And that's sure to come up at the first presidential debate happening later this month in Cleveland. Biden told reporters in Florida he's been preparing to go face-to-face with President Trump. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
Back to our coverage of Hurricane Sally right now, downgraded to a Cat 1, and this is a live look at Mobile, Alabama. Take a look at the palm trees just blowing in the wind there. Sally is on the move, but slowly. Chesley, what kind of impact are we expected to see here? And more on the timeline. I think people are really interested in that.
Yeah, we're not going to see the gusty winds like they're seeing down there, but we will have some wind and we will have some rain. The rain has already started in a lot of our spots, so more steady once we get toward the later afternoon. So after 3, 4 o'clock, more of the steady rain. Heavier rain comes in later tonight, going into Thursday. By Thursday afternoon, a lot of that heavy rain will push off toward the east of us, and then we'll start to see the rain begin to let up just a little bit Thursday night, going into Friday morning. So lots of rain here. It's going to lead to at least 2, maybe 3, up to 4, 5 inches in some spots. And so that's going to be our major threat. We'll recap that in just a few for you. Right now, we just have the light rain out there and some moderate pockets as well. No lightning strikes associated with any of them at all. Notice over here toward the east, we have a moderate pocket there, east of the city of Atlanta, over toward Covington as well. Just a few here and there. We'll see more of this pick up once we get past 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's cool out there as well. You're going to need a jacket, maybe with the hood, because temperatures are in the 60s in a lot of spots. watch. Looks like morning time temperatures, right? 70 degrees in Canton. You're at 71 degrees over toward Rome, 72 up toward Dalton, 71 in Blairsville. Those are our warm spots for this afternoon. I do think we'll get up to around 70 for an afternoon high, and that will be it. Sally has made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane, now down to a Category 1, and continue to spread that very heavy rainfall up here to the north. You can see it's moving more toward the northeast, and so it's going to track right over central Georgia and push that very heavy rain up toward us. Here's the timing on that. Our forecast track model shows that heavy rain, again, right now over southern Alabama. We'll push into central Georgia later tonight. This is by 10 o'clock. Notice that heavy rain coming in, steady rain over us, and it's going to keep raining right on through the overnight going into Thursday morning. That's when we're expecting to see the heaviest rain here. The heaviest from the storm itself will be again south and then push over toward the east of the city of Atlanta up to the far north. You're not going to see much in the way of rain. You will get some rain, but it won't be as heavy. All right, that heavier rain continues to push out into parts of South Carolina. We'll still have some steady light rain going on once we get into Thursday evening. I think it will linger into Friday morning before it begins to kick out. Now, once it kicks out, our conditions will get better. But with all that rain, of course, that's going to lead to some flooding. We're still looking at anywhere between 3 to 5 inches of rain. Could be some higher spots, especially south of the city of Atlanta. When I showed you this map yesterday, notice this was to the north of us. Now with that track going over central Georgia, that's going to remain over there. Here is that flood watch I wanted to pass along to you. Flood watch, just about our entire viewing area with that. 3 to 6 inches of rainfall, some higher spots. When you factor in the winds with that, it's going to create an issue. So those are our impacts. The heavy rain, of course, 3 to 6 inches, and then those winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. That can knock over some trees, especially some weak trees that could fall on power lines. That will lead to some power outages for us. Expecting that to take place again through the overnight going into Thursday, and then that storm risk will be low for us. I think it will be mainly over toward central Georgia. In fact, they have a marginal risk for severe weather in the central portion of the state. Down here further to the south is where they have a slight risk for severe weather. We just have a general threat for thunderstorms, and I think we may see 1 or 2. That'll be it. All right, we showed you the path of the storm, and you can see how it just pushes right on out, moving over towards central Georgia and gets out of the way. Not the only storm that we have out there, though. We do have a 40% chance for that to develop down there over toward Mexico, and that was where we'll stay. Then back off to the east, we have Teddy, which is forecast to become a major hurricane, and then a 50% chance with this one rolling off the coast of Africa could become Wilford, which would be the last name storm on the list. After that, we'll go to Greek names like Alpha, Beta, Gamma. All right. And so again, our conditions will start to get worse. And so we'll watch for the heavy rain. Really will start to clear out for the weekend, and we'll have a beautiful weekend on tap. Sheila, back over to you.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
Breaking news update on a story our Reveal investigators first reported. The Cobb County DA now asking the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia to conduct an independent investigation into the recent deaths at the Cobb County Jail, including the death of Kevil Wingo. His story making national headlines. Video from the jail last year shows Wingo begging for hours for help, repeatedly saying he could not breathe and was suffering abdominal pain. Deputies and medical staff ignored his pleas, eventually placing Wingo in a padded isolation room where he died. Weeks ago, the sheriff's office concluded its investigation, which found no wrongdoing on the part of staff members. But Wingo's family says his death was preventable. Some parents frustrated with virtual learning are sharing videos like these right here and urging Atlanta Public Schools to help their kids and finally release plans on when they can return for face-to-face learning. They're growing weary here. Tracy Amick Pierce spoke to the superintendent about their concerns and what comes next.
They are in their rooms, glued to a computer like this. They do not come out.
Molly Sipp says virtual learning for her family is not working, with her 4 kids online all day.
They all have breaks at different times. They all eat lunch at different times. They start at different times.
Sipp is also a member of the Facebook group, Let Atlanta Parents Choose. It formed last week and already has nearly 700 members, many also frustrated with virtual learning.
We've heard nothing about APS as far as where we're headed and what the future holds for the children.
The group also started a petition with more than 1,800 signatures so far. APS Superintendent Dr. Lisa Herring says the school district is paying attention.
They've asked very explicitly about pre-K and special education. That's been on our radar. They've asked for choice, or at least the understanding of knowing when we'll be able to come back to school and are we preparing. The answer is yes.
Sipp says parents are looking for specifics.
How are the kids going to have lunch? Are there going to be partitions? Do we wear masks? What about the bus?
I don't want by any stretch for there to be a sense of we've not been in communication, nor have we listened to families. I've been overwhelmed with the amount of response we've received, numbers in the tens of thousands.
But when it comes to an actual plan, these parents say they'll have to see it to believe it.
If I had one thing to say, it would be to prove us wrong, Dr. Herring. Let us see the plan, put our minds at ease.
Herring says APS parents won't have to wait until October 5th for new information. They will now release a draft version of their plan by next week. Now, by then, they will also release the date of the next survey. Keep in mind, any hybrid plan depends on COVID numbers going down.
College football is back, but the tailgating fun is not what Georgia Tech fans can expect on game day this weekend.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Finally, this tailgating is banned Saturday outside Bobby Dodd Stadium. This is Georgia Tech here. Chairs, grills, and coolers are not allowed on the grounds, and gatherings of any size are prohibited anywhere outside the stadium. Fans attending the game are still encouraged to arrive early. Parking lots will open 2 hours before kickoff. Thank you so much for watching 11Alive News at noon.
And we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.